Our brains don't just think. They also are self-aware. They are conscious. Is consciousness unique to the human brain? Or could a creature with radically different brain architecture also be self-aware? The answers may lurk behind these unblinking eyes. Octopuses are invertebrates. They don't have spinal cords, yet they exhibit a level of intelligence we usually associate only with mammals. They appear to be thoughtful, clever, even calculating, but they are utterly unlike us.
Octopuses are truly the closest thing to an alien life form of any degree of intelligence on the planet Earth.
Neuroscientist David Edelman studies the brain of the octopus, or more precisely, brains. It has more than one.
In the common octopus, we have 500 million neurons or nerve cells, more than half of which are in the arms. And those arms, in fact, are really, really interesting because you can almost characterize them as having their own miniature brain.
The multiple brains of the octopus act as a distributed processing system. The arms feeding data to the head, like a network of computer nodes, feed data to a central hub. If one of the nodes is cut off, it can still function.
If you cut off an octopus's arm, that arm is actually able to execute a series of movements that are very, very coordinated, which is really intriguing, and you do not see that at all in any vertebrate.
The animal uses some of this brain power to control its remarkable defense mechanism, the ability to disappear into its environment. An octopus can change color in a split second. The animal contracts bands of muscles wrapped around small sacs of pigment covering its skin. Each pigment sac is a different color, which the octopus can combine and recombine in the blink of an eye.
It is their central brain that's controlling the way they change the color of their skin. This is a very different matter from what we observe among those few vertebrates that are able to do something similar. In the case of chameleons, chameleons are doing this as a result of a hormonal signal. It doesn't happen very quickly. It takes a matter of seconds for a chameleon to change the color of its skin. In the case of the octopus, this literally happens in a couple of hundred milliseconds. It's really, really quick, and again, it's under direct neural control.
David suspects the key to the octopus's alien brain function is the animal's visual system.
So one of the intriguing things about the octopus is its eye. When you look at that eye, you've got to think to yourself, well, there's an eye that looks like a vertebrate eye in so many ways, and maybe even functions a lot like a vertebrate eye.
How do you work out what a creature with an alien brain is thinking? David's solution was to adapt intelligence tests made for mice and rats to octopuses.
So what you see here is a Barnes maze, which was originally designed for looking at memory and learning and actual visual navigation in rodents. And what we're doing here is we're checking the octopus's capability for visual navigation. And so what you see here is this fairly simple maze with 18 holes, but only one hole is a true hole that leads to an escape. The escape is into a container of its own seawater. But you also see these visual landmarks. And the idea behind this is to follow the animal as it learns the location of the various landmarks in relation to the one true escape hole.
The octopus has no problem finding its way out. Trials have shown that when the markers are moved, it will head toward what it believes to be the exit sign, even if it's no longer above the escape hole. Clearly, the animal plans, acts, and remembers. It's thinking at a high level of complexity. But is it conscious?
I define consciousness as the stitching together of all of the diverse sensory input that's coming into my brain. Visual input, sense of touch, combined with auditory, what I hear, and the remembrance of all of that stuff stitched together as a unitary whole.
So a creature with multiple brains could be conscious, but being conscious is not the same thing as being self-aware. And right now, we have no way of measuring either consciousness or self-awareness.
If somebody were to ask me whether my dog is conscious, as a pet owner and a dog lover, I would say, well, of course. She seems to be aware of her world. She seems to respond in ways that look remarkably familiar to me. But as a scientist, I have to demand evidence of consciousness in non-human animals who cannot report to me their internal conscious states.
The octopus's thoughts are a mystery and may forever remain a mystery. We may never know if it is self-aware or if it can contemplate its world.
Can you think without words? Is there such a thing as thought without words? Well, you know, I might be in the minority, but I happen to think that you probably can. I think that there can be visual thoughts. It's very hard for us as humans to imagine that because, of course, every time we think, language breaks in.
What will alien languages be like? Would theirs and ours have anything in common? The evolution of language on Earth may hold the answers to whether humans and aliens can one day communicate or be hopelessly separated by our uncommon tongues.